Welcome back to my ranking video. So for this video I'm going to be ranking all the Pixar movies. So Pixar is essentially one of the most well-known and popular animation studios out there. I mean, they've proven to be one of the best animation studios, if not the best. Well, that's my opinion. Poor DreamWorks, always living in the shadow of Pixar. Anyways, Pixar released their first fully CGI movie in 1995. The movie goes by the name of Toy Story. Don't know if you guys have heard of it. So over the course of 2 decades, Pixar has released 20 movies. Some are really excellent and some not so much. But what makes Pixar the best animation studio is that if you really think about it, there are no bad movies, you know. Like, no wait, there actually is one movie that I outright hate. Sure, there are some mediocre movies that I'm going to get into soon, but all in all, they really are crafted with care. So without wasting any more of your valuable time, coming in at the bottom of the list at number 20 is Cars 3. This was rather unshocking, wasn't it? Is unshocking even a word? Unshocking. Who cares? Anyways, most of Pixar's films are actually not just aimed at kids but towards adults as well, as 90% of their films have excellent depth, emotion and conveys a strong message. But for Cars 3, I felt that it was aimed towards children ages 6 and below. Yeah, I really did not find this disposable movie entertaining at all. I was quite frankly laughing throughout the entire movie due to how cheesy and exceptionally boring it was. Honestly, you can just skip the Cars trilogy altogether. So coming in at number 19 is Cars 2. Okay, this movie is absolutely ridiculous. It really is, guys. Okay, I'll admit it's entertaining at some points because of just how dumb it is, but it's still not a very good movie, especially coming from Pixar. I mean, we have Mater going on this spy mission and it's all just really dumb. So yeah, I don't have much to say about this shitty movie. No, actually it's not shit, it's alright, I guess. It's not bad, it's just I wouldn't like rewatch this anytime soon. So at number 18 is The Good Dinosaur. This movie is pretty alright, I guess. It's essentially about this young dinosaur named Arlo and how he got lost and has to reunite with his family and goes on this adventure, and it's just a really mediocre movie, to be honest. I really wasn't keen on watching this one after watching the trailers and looking at reviews, but I watched it so I could create my ranking list. This movie is fairly watchable but not quite Pixar standard, if you know what I mean. All in all, mediocre at best. So at number 17 we have A Bug's Life. As a kid, I always changed the channel whenever this movie played on TV because I hate bugs, okay? So I never really got the chance to watch this movie up until a week ago. It's Pixar's second animated movie after the success of Toy Story, but doesn't come close to how good Toy Story was. A Bug's Life is basically about these ants standing up to the grasshoppers who use them to collect food, and with the help of the main character whose name I forgot because this is a forgettable movie at best. But anyways, the main ant has to find some bigger, stronger bugs in pursuit to scare away the grasshoppers, and we get a pretty fun movie but still average at best. It does have a little depth and some likable characters, so it gets a thumbs up. Okay, coming in at number 16 is Cars. I mean, are you guys even surprised that all 3 movies are like literally on the bottom of my list? Yeah, I'm sure you would rank them the same way. So anyways, now compared to both its sequel, I'd say this is the watchable one. Yeah, I rather enjoyed this movie even though it has a slow second act that can sometimes drag and feel a little boring, but the movie gives some depth to the characters and also really decent emotions that you can connect with. The main character also gets a pretty good character arc, which I kinda like. So I mean, talking Cars, it's original but you can't really go far with this idea. All in all, a fun watch, I'd say. Alright, so we've come to the portion of the list where everything from here on out are movies that I do recommend watching and are very much enjoyable to some extent. So coming in at number 15 is Pixar's Brave. Now, Brave tells the story of a young princess who really wants to be free from all the hassle of the royal life, while in doing so crosses viewpoints with her mother. So this ultimately stirs the shit pot, and we have a pretty interesting story of how the bond between mother and daughter is mended. Now, this movie had the potential to be much better, but certain elements were not executed as well as expected. So the characters are also not very interesting, and that's why this movie isn't very high on my list. So coming in at number 14 is Inside Out. To me, this movie is overrated. Yeah, when it first came out, many set it out to be Pixar's best in many years, but to me it lacks the, magic that Pixar movies have. Once again, the characters lack any interesting traits the characters lack any interesting traits, jeez, which ultimately brings this movie down a notch. There are a lot of clever ideas in this movie and also an important message conveyed about family. This movie also brings a unique idea that's completely original, so for that, well done. All in all, an alright movie, but in my personal opinion, kinda overrated. There was one really sad scene which I really liked, but other than that, just some clever ideas sprinkled throughout the movie. Am I talking really fast? If so, just let me know in the comments. Okay, so coming in at number 13 is one of Pixar's newer movies, Coco. Now this story is essentially about this kid who wants to be a musician, but is ultimately denied by his family because of something that happened years ago. And now, the most impressive thing that I found about this movie is the animation, which is absolutely gorgeous and just so damn good to look at. The plot is pretty alright and it had a twist that I rather enjoyed. The movie does open with a lazy exposition, which is almost unlike Pixar, but whatever. There's something about movies with the inclusion of the Dead celebration that somewhat intrigues me. Other than that, the music was pretty good and all in all an enjoyable movie. So coming in at number 12 is Pixar's Inredibles 2. Now I've been waiting over a decade for this movie, and when they first announced it, I was so excited that I screamed like a little girl to the heavens. Everyone was feeling rather the same about the announcement of this movie, I'd say. Anyways, the story continues immediately after the first movie and revolves around Helen, also known as Elastigirl. So superheroes are banned because of the destruction they cause, and so Elastigirl has to work with the siblings from a company in order to unban heroes and show the world that they need heroes. Now, I was personally really disappointed with this movie. Sure, it had an excellent animation and more inclusions of Jack. I mean, that definitely had me laughing. However, the villain to me felt really weak. Even the motivations for the villain felt really, it wasn't as strong as it should have been, and it felt forced because every superhero movie needs a villain, I guess. I mean, if you look at the first movie, the antagonist had an excellent motivation on why he wanted to take down Mr. Incredible. Compared to its predecessor, this one did not quite reach the heights I expected it to reach. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a really good film, but I'm just comparing it with the first movie. At number 11, we have Finding Dory. Now, this is basically the sequel to Finding Nemo that did not need to happen, but I'm glad it did because it was really entertaining. The story essentially tells us about the adventure Dory goes through, trying to find her long-lost parents. I don't know about you guys, but to me the character of Nemo and Marlin is pretty boring, and when I watch both Finding Nemo and Dory, I actually find that the side characters are much more hilarious and interesting. I know that's just my opinion. So the story is somewhat similar to Finding Nemo, but this time it's Dory who gets lost instead of Nemo. I did have a good time with this movie, and once again the animation is top notch. So now we get to the top 10 Pixar movies, and these are all movies that range from great to absolute perfection. So coming in at number 10 is Wally. This movie is all visual storytelling, minimum dialogue, but the story is very much intriguing with top-notch visual storytelling and directing. This essentially tells the story of a lonely robot on a planet that cleans up an abandoned planet. He soon embarks on a journey in space, and we find out that humans are on the ship where they now reside. It's crazy how this movie depicts a rather unshocking future for the human race. Again, is unshocking a word? Okay, I'll just replace that with unsurprising. Yeah, I have no idea, okay, if that's a word or not, but anyways, this movie has a likable character and a riveting story. Also, the relationship between Wally and Eve just shows you that visual storytelling is all you need to showcase the depth of a relationship. Something to take note of, George Lucas. So Coming in at number 9 is Pixar's Up. When I first watched this movie, it was just okay, but rewatching it as an adult and due to my brain working better, I found this to be one of the most emotional Pixar movies. Also has the best 12 minutes of any Pixar movie that happens in the first act. I swear guys, if you ever aspire to be a visual storyteller, just take the first 12 minutes of Up as an example. It's honestly the saddest scene in all of the 20 Pixar movies. The plot is simple, however the character development of Russell and that old man, I think his name is Mr. Fredrickson. Yes it is, okay? I just love the payoff that happens towards the end of the movie. There's also a scene right before the climax where Mr. Fredrickson looks through his album that his late wife gave him, and honestly that was one of my favorite moments of the movie. I absolutely adore the musical score with the pianos, so emotionally resonating. To be honest, if the plot itself was stronger, Up would have been much higher on my list. So coming in at number 8 is Finding Nemo. Now many people would have actually put this higher on their list, but to me, I just didn't find the characters of Marlin and Nemo, who are supposed to be the main characters, to be that intriguing. Other than that, it has an excellent plot, likable side characters, optimum humor, an excellent depth of emotions, and has a sense of adventure. Also, the musical score is really good and memorable. To me, the standout character was of course Dory, who at times could have been easily that annoying character, but they crafted her really well, and it's Pixar in their prime, so you could just sit back, relax, and let the magic unfold before your eyes. Number 7 is Monsters University. I actually came to know that not many people fancied this movie as much as I did. It's actually a really good prequel to Monsters Inc., revolving around the story of how Mike and Sully came to be best friends and eventually became top flight scarers. Now, to me, the pairing of Mike and Sully is my absolute favorite pairing in the Pixar universe, and that just took this movie up a notch. This movie also has an exceptional depth to it, likable side characters, and good humor. Now, why it's not as good as the original is due to its lack of creativity and originality. There also isn't much creativity with the monsters and how they go about day to day, as we've seen so much of in the original Monsters Inc. We've all seen movies about college or university life, but this movie just does it a little differently with the inclusion of monsters. Now, the animation in this movie, however, is much more detailed compared to the original. We also get to learn more about the characters of Mike, and to me, I absolutely love this character arc. A solid movie and remains to be one of my favorites. Coming in at number 6 is The Incredibles. The Incredibles is truly one of the great Pixar movies. I thought everything about this movie was exceptional and honestly close to perfection. I remember as a kid I owned the DVD and would pop it in every single day, and sometimes even up to twice a day. Rewatching it as an adult, I still think it's as good. The story is essentially about a family of superheroes that's forced to live a normal life after heroes are banned, but Mr. Incredible soon finds himself mixed up in some trouble with his past. What made the movie strong was a great antagonist. Now, what makes a great antagonist? Well, a solid motivation, of course. We don't want some mustache-twirling villain that, quite frankly, what most shitty superhero movies are doing today. Not The Incredibles, of course. This is a great story with excellent characters and a riveting story. Even the score for this movie is one of my favorites. Oh, and also this scene that killed me.
Super suit?
What?
Where is my super suit?
Put it away.
Where?
Why do you need to know?
I need it.
Don't you think about running off to doing no daring do? We've been planning this dinner for 2 months.
The public is in danger.
My evening's in danger.
You tell me what my suit is, woman. We are talking about the greater good.
Greater good? I am your wife. I'm the greatest good you will ever
At number 5 is Ratatouille. This is one of the most unique stories to be told, and the whole idea of it sounds dumb when you think about it, but when you watch the movie, it's some of the best storytelling put to screen. Okay, just to clear things up, the name of the rat is not Ratatouille. Jeez, Ratatouille is a damn dish, okay? The rat's name is Remy, capiche? So this movie is about a rat who has a heightened sense of smell and taste towards food, and ends up helping this human who's a terrible chef, but eventually succeeds thanks to Remy. There's more to the story, but I'm sure most of you have seen this movie, but if you haven't, what are you even doing? Go check it out. So coming in at number 4 is Toy Story 3. Now, it's very rare that all three movies in a trilogy are good, but honestly, Toy Story is one of my top 5 favorite trilogies of all time. Toy Story 3 once again tells the story of Woody, Buzz and company. The plot is essentially that their owner Andy is too old to be playing with toys, and so the toys were bound for the attic but ended up at a daycare. And from there it turns to almost like a prison break movie, but even more entertaining because it's with these likable characters and humor sprinkled throughout the movie. So during the climax of the movie, when they were in that dump and about to be, burned alive by that incinerator, it honestly got to me. Like, I literally cried because it felt real. It really did. I mean, characters that you absolutely adored on the brink of that? Hell nah. Towards the end, we also get an emotional goodbye between the toys and Andy, and that's so freaking satisfying. God, I love this movie. So in third place is the original Toy Story and the first Pixar movie to be ever made. You know how your first impression is the most important thing? Well, Pixar has absolutely nailed it on their first impression. An exceptionally unique and original idea with fun characters and a well-told story. Honestly, to me the best part about these Toy Story movies are the characters. I mean, as much as I love Mike and Sully from Monsters Inc., Woody and Buzz are my close favorites, and the banter between them is honestly some of the best. To me, these top 3 movies are absolute perfections. Absolutely perfect in every way. Also, it has the best song from all the Pixar movies, but I can't play it here because, copyright bullshit and whatnot. So all in all, a perfect movie, but I'm sure you already know that. At number 2 is Toy Story 2. Toy Story 1 was perfect, but somehow the freaking geniuses at Pixar took it up a notch. How is that even possible? This sequel once again tells the story of Buzz, Woody and company, but this time they embark on an even more exciting adventure. So, we're also introduced to the character of Jessie, and the movie had an excellent visual backstory of Jessie that I adored. The score is once again great, and that fat dude from Jurassic Park plays the chicken guy. I love his voice for some reason. Another thing that I absolutely love about this movie is it's the funniest Pixar movie. Like, legit, it really is the funniest Pixar movie, especially the scenes with the other Buzz Lightyear. Okay, so to me the best part is all the Star Wars references from The Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope, which was freaking awesome.
I'll never give in. You killed my father.
No, Buzz. I am your father.
He told me you killed him. No. I am your father.
Once again, the characters are what made this movie. Okay, so this movie should have been on my top spot. However, the film on my top spot is a movie that I connected with the most. So coming in the top spot is Monsters Inc. Now this is one of the first Pixar movies that I saw in theaters, and I swear guys, I rewatched this movie at least 20 times and I'm still not bloody bored of it. It's so original, so unique and so damn good. What can I say? The score is excellent, the characters are amazing, great humor, but the best part is the relationship of Sully and Boo. So with these two characters, Sully and Boo, we get that emotional scene right at the end that had an exceptional payoff compared to any other Pixar movies. So the movie is essentially about monsters who scare children in order to generate power or electricity, to light up their world. And I also liked that at the end of the movie they generate laughter instead, So that's a really interesting idea. And I mean, this film is so damn creative, guys. It really is. To me, this is Pixar's best movie. But to be fair, you could ask 100 different people what their favorite Pixar movies are, and they'd all give different answers. That's how good Pixar is. As a conclusion, wait, what? As a conclusion? I'm not writing a bloody essay. Okay, anyways, to sum it up, Pixar is without a doubt the best animation studio out there. I mean, 20 plus years and still going strong. Good for you, Pixar. Good for you. Pixar, in my mind, will remain number one for a very long time. DreamWorks, you have much to do, my friend. Just saying. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my ranking of all 20 Pixar movies, and let me know your personal rankings of these movies in the comment section down below. Let me know what other franchises or trilogies or whatever films you want me to rank. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao!